So I'm on eBay, not trading, just having a look. And I've typed in Viking reenactment. I apologise for the quality of the video, but I thought I'll have a couple of minutes to have a look and entertain you with some funny things. A warm welcome to the channel, Northworthy Sagas and Stories.
We will be dealing with sagas, stories, and poetry, telling myths, tales of the gods and goddesses, and the cosmic forces that they dealt with. We will be telling legends of mighty mortal heroes from famous dynasties and all of their adventures.
So here we have a medieval vintage warrior armour comb, warrior brace helmet, which is nothing to do with Vikings. It looks a bit later to me. So we'll go to the next one. Let's have a look down. Now this is not bad. A real leather Viking reenactment pouch and bolt for £50. That's a good buy, that is, I would say. And it's got some really nice carving on the leather. So, yeah. If that was a bit cheaper, I'd be tempted to buy that. But I don't have a really nice pouch with some nice carving on it. So, yeah, I approve of that. And we'll go down next. This is quite nice. It's a Viking helmet, Eastern style, for £250. I quite like that. I wouldn't mind one in my collection. But has to be a bit cheaper than that for my liking. Now here we have a fantasy Saxon Viking Norman medieval helmet. I've actually recently bought a helmet from this guy. It looks a little bit like Irix. For £40, that's not a bad buy. What's it like inside though? So it's got nothing inside of it though. So well, it's not too bad. You could wear a woolen hat. So yeah, that's not a bad buy. And that's by a seller called Mist_Cat. Well, yeah, fantasy. You always put fantasy down, some people. So a padded arming cap for £15 with £4 postage. That's not a bad deal. And you got this. It is a battle merchant medieval Viking tunic. If it's made of wool, it's a good buy. But this is made of cotton, so it's not authentic. It'll be great for LARPing and roleplay. And if you are starting out and you can't afford wool or linen, then it's a cheap option for you. So, yeah, that's not too bad. But it would be better if it's wool. Now this item is a bit crazy. It's a padded armoured jack. I like how the sleeves on this are attached with the cord, but it's £1,200. £1,200. Are you sure this guy hasn't got this actually wrong and it should be £120? Because there's no way on the 9 rules is that worth £1,200, and you'd have to be completely crazy. And he's only got a standard delivery, so that's got to be an error, and it should be £120. If it's £120, then that's not a bad buy, but you can see that whoever's worn it has worn mail because of all the blacking on the grease on the mail. So, yeah, we'll go on to the next one. Reviewing things on eBay. Now here we have a Viking Norman Spangenhelm with nose guard, perfect for stage and reenactment. And I've seen this helmet a few times. It's got quite an interesting nose piece because it's made of iron separately. And that's quite different. I've not seen one like that before. £100, bit expensive to be honest. But it's a good starter helmet. But you can buy one earlier for £40. So what are you going to do? Now this one looks like a proper real reenactor's helmet. It's got something in the inside, but also put down the size, so that's great. And that must be for reference. A bit rusty, needs a bit of work. Interesting paddling, so I quite like that one. LARP cosplay gauntlet, looks more like Lord of the Rings to me. And here we have a very shiny helmet for £120. And it does make you think and question, would you have shiny helmets like that? Because that would take an awful lot of work to get it to that state of shininess. And it's not easy to make sandpaper in those days. So again, not bad, but a bit expensive. You got a rope, you got a shield here, but it's more 16th century than Viking. So we missed that one. We've got another nasal helm for £100 with £10 postage. This is much later medieval, probably more fantasy. God knows what this is. Whoever's got this advertised as this is a fantasy axe, no doubt about it. But £90, and it's not really authentic for anything Viking, so don't buy that unless you're into roleplay. And then if you're into roleplay, that you shouldn't be buying metal weapons in the first place. So we'll carry on down. So here is a nice item. If this was silver, I would have bought this by now, but it's probably pewter, but it is nicely stamped. Needs a bit of polishing, and for £30, free postage, that's not a bad buy. If it was a little bit cheaper, that would have gone by now. But it's interesting to see around the edge where it's splitting a little bit. So it's definitely been used and worn. So we'll go on to the next item. This is a drinking horn for £17. I have one of these cloths. It's a Nefeltarful board game. And I keep meaning one day to get the glass bits. And I have bought one of them myself. But never reviewed it. So here we are for £20. This is much later. It's a grey soldier's pikeman coat for the sealed knot. Now for £20, that's a real good buy. Because it looks like proper wool. But of course, way too later for our period. But if you are doing the sealed knot or very, very late medieval, then that could be the item for you. And next we have a bolt. Let's have a look at this. Just got some belt mountings. Not sure whether they're authentic or not. And the strap end is a bit, for £35, not a bad item. But more fantasy than Viking. And I don't think that's really... The buckle looks nice. I give them the buckle. That's quite nice. But and it's properly riveted as well. So, yeah, I think for the work, if you're paying somebody to make it, you'll be paying twice the amount for that. So that's not bad. So, medieval re-enactment wool velvet, hat blue, not seen this before. This is very, very later on medieval. Very, very tall hat. If you wear that as a Viking, you'll get laughed at. On to the next eBay item. Reviewing good things and bad things on eBay. We've got a pikeman's armour. I don't know why it's bringing up medieval and much later things, but for £95, that's not a bad buy if you're into this era of warfare, because let's face it, something like that will cost you £200-300 brand new, and it's got one bid, so that's going to be sold. Nice. And we've got a medieval leather pouch. Don't like that really. Look at the rivet on that. That's a very modern rivet. In fact, it's a push rivet. That's not even authentic. So, great for LARPing, but don't buy it if you're into authentic Viking reenactment. Now, this is a handmade medieval woolen tunic for £50. And I must say, that's quite nice for £50, because it's got a bit of embroidery. Someone's taken the time to put tablet weave on it, and you'll probably spend twice that brand new. So, again, not bad, but I like to see what it looks like on you, whether it be... It's a little bit short in length to a certain degree, so it's a short tunic. But yeah, that's nice, and that feature's rather nice. And the tablet weave, if it was a bit cheaper at £30-40, that would have gone by now. And I don't really need any more Viking clothes. So here we have a Norman-Saxon reenactment kite shield for £85. So, yeah, I don't know whether that's, probably about right. I'd like to see it cheaper myself, but then again, if you're looking to buy something, you want it cheap. So, coming down to some more pikeman's coats from the sealed knot, so much later. So, not Viking. Again, much later stuff. So, we're running out of fundamentally Viking stuff. I mean, we've got an RAF jacket here. So, let's have a look at this. See how Farby this is. And Farby just basically means far be it from the war. So, this is great if you're doing LARPing again. But I don't know, that's not too bad. If you get all that for £280, yeah, whether that's a good buy, I don't know. But not for me. I don't recommend it. This is a much later medieval wooden, a wool felt hat. Much later in our period. We've got a Norman-Saxon re-enactment dress. I've got to make some dresses for my girlfriend, so I hope the camera works okay. £60, that's not too bad for, if it's made of wool. Sometimes they describe it. Yeah, so yeah, that gives you a rough idea. We've got some hammered shield, God knows what that is. Much later armour. We're getting into the realms of fantasy. You've got this large wooden live action roleplay Roman shield, if you're into Roman stuff. So here we have a reproduction Roman gladiator helmet, but it's actually Viking. So if you had that down as Viking and a bit cheaper, that would have gone by now. Don't quite like the rivets on it, but that would be a good starter helm. And specky helms are normally a little bit more expensive than other things. So this is just me reviewing things on eBay. Don't seem to be much more out on here. We've got a hood for £90. That's a bit expensive. That is, when you can get one off Etsy for £15 or £20. I'm sorry about the quality of this video. If I knew how to record my video from my computer straight direct, it would be a better quality. So we'll just shoot it back up and we're just going to click on the medieval option and see what's available there. So medieval reenactment. We're going to click used. And we're just going to go down and make sure that we're within the UK. So I don't want to look at American stuff or stuff from Europe. Yeah, so overall that's probably one of the nicest things I've found today. And that helmet's a good buy for £45.50p. Could do a bit of work. So this is mostly the same stuff. So there you go. This is just me reviewing stuff. Now here we have a metal handcrafted padlock. That's a very old style padlock. I would say it's a barrel lock, so that could be right for the period, but probably a little bit later for my liking. So here we have, what's this then? This is a bonnet, but it's made of cotton. So great for if you're doing LARP again. I've got too many windows open. And that's probably the most ridiculous thing. I swear he's got the price wrong and he's not realised it's meant to be 120, not 1,200. And I'm going to end this video on this because if you're going to pay that, then you got to be completely nuts and crazy and have way too much money. You're probably going around in a Jaguar or some Porsche if you're buying that for that amount of money. So £120, that'd be a much better and reasonable price. I think I paid about 80 for my Gambison. So there you go, there's a bit of a review. And of course you do find new stuff as well. You can get like combs and, but £61, 19p for a comb, that's a bit excessive in my liking. But and eBay isn't as good as it used to be for when it comes to finding biking reenactment kit. But I have bought quite a bit over the years. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a review of what I'm, for eBay stuff. So yeah, there you go. Bye and give us a like. Bye from Bragi. Love you, bye.
Welcome to Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Please watch our videos and feel free to leave a comment. Please subscribe and also click on the notification bell. Thank you for watching.